It was the first over after the batting power play, and Gautam Gami had had enough. He gave Sharma the charge and slog swept a tossed-up delivery, only to realize that his power didn't complement the trajectory he wanted on the ball. From a distance, he could see Hardik Pandya hardly break a sweat to get in line with the approaching ball at deep mid-wicket. Gami's helmet swayed in anger, his shoulders dropped in disappointment. A punch-drunk KKR had just been given a bad concussion, and he knew it. There's a chance every batsman of the KKR lineup woke up on the wrong side of his bed, considering how straightforward it appeared for Mumbai Indians to lure them into traps. Such was the wretched evening for KKR, that if they had marched into a spaced-out minefield, they would have still managed to step on danger each time. The weather conditions in Bengaluru and the tackiness of the Kayaswami surface meant that victory at the toss was akin to getting half the job done, but no team would have known it better than KKR. In SRH's failure 2 days ago, KKR had the perfect guide on how not to bat on the surface. But little of that practical wisdom was carried forward. It took only 2 balls into the game for Rohit Sharma to realize the need to bin his placement of a wideish, deep third man in favour of a long on for Chris Lynn, and starve the Australian of any room to play his shots in the arc. Mitchell Johnson and Jasprit Bumrah toyed with his patience by being fast and accurate, and the latter reaped the reward as Lynn holed out to long on in just the second over. Sushil Narine watched helplessly as his co-protagonist of the RCB massacre from less than 2 weeks ago walked off with his head bowed down in dejection. But the West Indian had a high benchmark of the joint fastest IPL 50 to live up to. He had his heart in the right place, but his mind, unfortunately, couldn't quite catch up. A nonchalant flick off Lasith Malaga in the 4th over landed just over the boundary ropes, but that ended up being the last significant frame in the Sushil Narine batting reel for the season. Playing ahead of the seasoned Harbhajan Singh, denied the left-hander any space to hit with the turn and clear the square leg fence. Narine tried and failed to dispatch 2 balls fired on his pads, before being thoroughly foxed by the flight offered. Made the most of Narine's urge to hit out, and gave the ball some air for a change. Only this time, he delivered it from the back of his hand and let it turn away from Narine. Stumped. Robin Uthapar's endeavour to quickly drag KKR out of the marshy lands was severed by a Bumrah bolt at 144 kmph. Uthapar saw Bumrah's pulled back length as an opportunity to carve open the leg side with a flick as fielding restrictions were still on. However, not accounting for the pace on offer and the angle created from wide of the crease, sent him on his way. Gami stood unmoved, and stared towards his dugout, as if to demand answers. Time was ticking on KKR as they limped to their worst power play score of the season, 25 for 3. Gami's exit brought a sudden stillness to Kayaswami. The noise levels of the KKR-leaning crowd, albeit briefly, dropped dead as the captain's traipse conveyed the looming sense of ending to another IPL campaign. A clueless Colin Gradham, consumed by another Kagoogly immediately, made matters worse. T20 is all about momentum. We started well in the first 6 overs, and that's how we were in the game and won it. K's crisp summary after MI secured a place in the final was spot on. At 31 for 5, KKR had run into an adamantine wall, laid out brick by K and Bumrah. Even the laudable resistance from Ishak Jagai and Surya Kumar Yadav worth 56 runs off 47 balls was brought to a screeching halt when both K and Bumrah returned for their final spells. They weren't just content with ripping the heart out of KKR early on, they wanted to snap the latter's spine as well, just in case. That KKR scored merely 2 runs more in 18.5 overs than they did in 6 in their first outing at Kayaswami this season, was reason enough to believe that the second qualifier was dead and buried by the halfway stage. Piyush Chawla tried to resuscitate it with early wickets, but the gaping holes left behind by erring batsmen were too large to fill. Almost as if to make up for the ungodly 2 a.m. finish on Wednesday, the penultimate clash of the season, on Friday, was wrapped up just a couple of minutes past 11. "Hopefully the batters can set the game up for the bowlers today," was Ghami's plea going into the fixture. "They didn't even come close.